On the show tonight, our focus is on the establishment of a shadow government by the Abia State chapter of the People's Democratic Party. We'll be exploring its motive, impact, and the reaction of the state government. On this particular matter, my guests tonight are Abraham Amah, the People's Democratic Party state chairman, Chimex Ulocha is the state chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, and also Ferdinand Ekeoma, the special advisor to the governor of the state on media and publicity. I am Dakbo Adigboye. Welcome. Let's get some answers. In strong reaction, Governor Otti of Abia State has accused the People's Democratic Party, that's the PDP, of committing a treasonable offense by establishing a shadow government in the state, vowing to address the issue via the law. The Abia State chapter of the People's Democratic Party recently announced the establishment of a shadow government, appointing a speaker and shadow commissioners, allegedly to hold the Otti administration to account. The governor dismissed the action as baseless and an expression of ignorance about Nigeria's political structure, explaining that the concept of a shadow government is unknown to the nation's presidential democracy. Let's listen to some excerpts from Abraham Amah, that's the chairman of the Abia State PDP, in a public address.
We will unveil a brand new shadow government that will take over the responsibility of running the most proactive shadow government in any part or any region of Africa. We will have the equivalent of all the ministries, both a commissioner and other appointments, people who will be serving with the responsibility of interfacing with the government of the day and putting them on check and making sure that at all times that they deliver nothing short of good governance to the people of Abia State. We are committed to that. Today, we are started as a people by dissolving our elders forum and thanking all those who have served in that forum and wishing them well in their future endeavor.
Interesting times in Abia State. Well, joining me on the program tonight is Abraham Amah, the chairman of the Abia State People's Democratic Party. He joins me virtually. Thank you for your time, Mr. Amah.
Thank you, Dakbo. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening. How are you?
All right, let's start off with what exactly is going on with the People's Democratic Party in Abia State. You are establishing a shadow government. Are you, in a way, trying to create a parallel government in Abia State?
Well, Dakbo, you should know, and I think it's a very common knowledge that there is a very huge distinction between what a shadow government is and what a parallel government is. A shadow government is a reflective government that mirrors the activity of the official and authentic government and take up the responsibility to criticize whatever they do that is not in tandem with the best interest of the people, and at the same time encourage them whenever they do the right thing. A shadow government is not a parallel government. We don't control the budget of the states. We don't have any security apparatus. We don't have courts anywhere. What we have done is to simply replicate the various ministries, appoint people who will act on shadow arrangements. These people will closely monitor each and every other ministry and make sure that they are doing the right thing. Whenever we notice that they are not doing the right thing, we provide an alternative perspective And therefore, I must tell you that it is only the ugly face of the government of Governor Otti which probably is responsible for their being afraid of the evil. Because it's a natural phenomenon that in whatever we do in life, we leave traces. Our activities is naturally today being labeled. Today, if you go to a forest to build anything in the forest, the satellite will pick you.
I'm sorry I need to cut in here, because for many Nigerians following the development right now in Abia State, it's pretty confusing, because I know that, by the setting up of your shadow government, you also appointed a speaker and shadow commissioners, which of course you claim to hold the government to account. I would come back to you on that aspect, on how you hope to make this work. But let me bring in Chimex into the conversation right now. Chimex Ulocha is a state chairman of Interparty Advisory Council. Chimex, it's great to have you on the program. Chimex, it's great to have you on the program. All right, while of course we're still trying to connect with Chimex, let me of course come back to you, Mr. Abraham Amah. You of course are appointing a speaker, and there are commissioners too, shadow commissioners. I would like you to please really shed light on what their roles essentially are and how they sort of hope to operate.
Well, therefore, in the concept of medieval Europe, we have what we call the first estate of the will. We have what we call the second estate of the will. And of course, we also have the third estate of the will. And from the first estate of the will, each and every will has a responsibility to play to make sure that there is good governance. For instance, the first state of the will is all about the clergy. In every society, democratic society, the clergy have a role to play. The people have a role to play. The media have a role to play. The opposition political parties also have a role to play. And the government in power must not see this role as an aberration. That is the problem. They don't expect me as a state chairman of Abia PDP to request the members of the state working committee to join me and enter one poster bus and then go to the government house and carry bags of money from the governor and start praising him. Even before my election, I presented myself to the people, and I told them that one of the things I was going to do, that I'm going to subject the government in power, I am to scrutiny, that I will make sure that they are held accountable by every of their action. And that the only way I will do that is to strengthen and expand the scope of the management of the party affairs by bringing in experts from various areas who will mirror the various ministries. That is the aim. And this aim should not be seen as an aberration. If the governor has nothing to hide, he should not be afraid of the
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something, Mr. Amah? Does this, your speaker, for instance, and your shadow commissioners, do they have an office? Do they have a place of operation? Are they on salary? What's the structure like?
Well, that is the internal affairs of my party. That is purely the government. I will have a very, very big or large state office of the secretariat of the party. And there are various departments in that secretariat that handles virtually everything. We have an executive conference room where we meet from time to time, including the shadow government, where they are supposed to meet once a month to ensure the activity of the government for that month. They also meet the following month to x-ray. So all these things are in place. What we pay or what we give them as stipends or whatever is the internal is our business. Is the business of the party. It's our internal arrangements. It's not, nobody comes, even you will not come here on the public television to discuss what the salary is, what the central television. So that is very private to us. But what is important is that what we are doing is for the best interest of the people of Abia, and Nigeria by extension. What we are doing is not supposed to be a threat to the government. There is freedom of information bill, remember, which means that government business must not even be conducted in secrecy. So they should be ready for our questions. And they should be ready to give accounts. When we ask the question, they will okay, for instance, a few months ago, the government came out to say they spent 7.2 billion on research and development. What do you expect from us? The first
I'm sorry, Mr. Amah.
Because the developed countries are what they are because of their investment on research and development. But what is it that we are researching and developing? We want to know. They don't have any answers for us. A few months ago, they came out to tell us that they have built a recreational facility in the state capital worth 6.5 billion naira. In the whole of that state capital, we are still searching for that recreational facility. Where 6.5 billion of taxpayers' money was spent. Up to now, we are yet to see that facility.
I mean, couldn't you have gone about, Mr. Abraham Amah? I mean, for some observers of the politics in Abia State,
to see that project.
For some observers of the politics, ongoing politics in Abia State, some would have suggested that, you know, to play the role of an opposition that holds the government to account, you could have as well, you know, gone about it maybe differently. Why set up, a shadow government with a commissioner and a speaker, which is more or less likened to what you would have in a proper government?
My dear, that is the standard all over the world. You see, on the course of my study, I had a privilege at some point as the business in my MBA to study the business strategy of about 250 to 500 companies. And on the course of that study, I discovered that every company has its own strategy. So it is not for the Labour Party or the Zenith Labour Party to determine our own strategy. It is our internal affairs to determine the strategy we want to use to engage them, to make sure that they tell other people, they are accountable to other people, that they do what is right. It is our own responsibility to design our strategy. Nobody designs the strategy for us. Every business, every individual determine their own strategy for success, to succeed. So nobody prepares a strategy and hand over to the other person and tell him this is the strategy you use. Even footballers, when they go in their time, they have the team strategy. The team strategy to win their match. Liverpool will not expect Manchester United to hand them over their own strategy to deal with them. It is not done that way.
Okay.
It is every man, every organization to their own strategy.
Mr. Abraham, I would of course need to cut in here because we need to pay.
What we have done is not an aberration, it's not a misnomer. What we have done is not against any known law in Nigeria. What we have done is in line with every existing law. And we will remain a law-abiding political organization.
Okay. Mr. Abraham Amah, we would of course come back to it, particularly the reaction of the governor to this issue. But we need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely pick up. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central TV. And of course, tonight we are discussing developing issue in Abia State, where the People's Democratic Party of the state has set up a shadow government to hold the current administration of Governor Alex Otti to account. And we have with us the chairman of the Abia State People's Democratic Party, Mr. Abraham Amah. We also have Ferdinand Ekeoma, is the special advisor on media and publicity to the governor of Abia State. He's joining the conversation, and also Chimex Ulocha is the state chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, let me bring in Mr. Ferdinand Ekeoma, the special advisor to the governor on media and publicity. I would like to believe that you've had quite a number of the things Mr. Amah said, and he's, extensively explained the idea of the shadow government. Now, from the angle of the government of the state, what is your standpoint on this?
Thank you once again for having me. The position of the government is very clear. What the PDP intends to do is to lay the foundation for anarchy in Abia State. Of course, they've been doing this surreptitiously, and now they want to elevate it to a different dimension. Of course, the government, as a legitimate government, as a well-constituted government, as a government that came on board on the basis of an election conducted by INEC and as stated and provided by our constitution, is under obligation to stop PDP from these perfidious paths. The government will do it to stop them with the help of our laws and security agencies. The government must stop them. They are a political party, and their existence is anchored on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as their own constitution. All their activities are guided to a great extent by their own constitution and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electoral Act. What they have come up with is not known to our laws, is not known to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is not known to the PDP Constitution. So it has no foundation. It is founded in illegality or on illegality, and the government is under obligation to stop them. Functioning as a political party, I don't think there is anything they want to do that is legitimate that they've not been able to do or they cannot do without constituting themselves as an alternate government. They are a political party, and all over the world, let's just look at our own democracy. This is unheard of. This is unknown. But they have started a process, and of course, the government will respond and respond very responsibly to stop them.
I would like to take Mr. Amah's response to this, but let me quickly bring in Chimex into the conversation. Chimex is the state chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council. As the chairman, the state chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, what's your take on this?
To my colleagues who are there, the unfortunate thing is that the PDP that is forming a shadow cabinet was an administration that just left barely 18 months ago. Do you understand? And my concern is on the individuals that made up this shadow cabinet. They lack integrity. They lack all manner of social and moral values, and you are bringing them into a political state to serve as a criticism individuals, to criticize the activities of the government of the day. It is laughable. I see that the PDP, having become a shadow of themselves, have decided to form a shadow cabinet. You look at it just like my brother Ekeoma.
Mr. Chimex, we are having a bit of difficulty listening to you. We cannot really hear you. It appears you're muted. If you can hear me, we are unable to hear you, so I might just need to move away from you slightly to Mr. Abraham Amah. Now, let me read the reaction of the state governor, on this matter in a recent meeting with Labour Party members. Permit me to read an excerpt of part of the things the governor did say. He said there is nothing like a shadow government in a presidential democracy. The problem people have is ignorance, and they refuse to be educated. Shadow governments only exist in parliamentary democracies. What they have set up, in essence, a government in exile. And since it is not recognized by law, it is treasonable. Mr. Abraham Amah, the chairman of the Abia State People's Democratic Party, your party has been accused of treason by the governor. How do you react?
One of the major responsibilities of the media is to set agenda. My question to you, is a shadow government an aberration? Is a shadow government a treason? I am also a media personality. The answer is no. A shadow government is not a parallel government and must not be equated to a parallel government. Having said that, let me just correct one impression. I am the head of the shadow government in Abia State. If you want to bring me to your television, you bring Alexis. We have a very, very qualified publicity secretary in the person of Eric Nnamna Igwago. If you want to bring media aids, we also have one. We also will have one. And I am telling you this because there is no way, it's an insult to my party, that you bring the head of our shadow government to come and be talking with somebody who says he's the president of IPAC and is not discussing the issues. He's talking about the integrity. When we talk about integrity, when EFCC mirrored the activity of Alex Otti as the managing director of Diamondback, what happened? There was a plea bargain of $1.8 million. I speak on national television. There was a plea bargain. He paid them $1.8 million to get out of the problem. That was because EFCC mirrored his activity. Mirrored his activity. Never say after that experience, he is afraid of being mirrored. But he cannot run away from the shadow. We will mirror him. If he thinks he didn't call us a government in exile, he called us a government in exile. If he feels that we have contravened any law, let him tell the head of the security, any of the security heads, the commissioner of police. If they invite me, I will be there in 1 hour's time. In 1 hour. I will leave whatever I am doing and answer them. I will go there and let him also understand that he is the head of an executive government that is not the judiciary. That he cannot change our constitution overnight. It is not his place to apply the law. That at the appropriate time, those who are constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of interpreting the law, we do so. We do so. And that he should not act in abeyance and expect that other PDP will keep quiet. We will not keep quiet. And he cannot intimidate us. We will mirror their activities, how contracts have been awarded, whether they pass through due process, how much money, whether they are technical and financial qualifications and everything. We will do those things. And the members in the House of Assembly will also do their work in the House of Assembly. What we are doing is in order, and it's in the best interest of our people.
All right.
He acts unilaterally.
All right.
He is a dog.
All right.
He wakes up and starts civil servants.
All right, Mr. Abraham Amah, I'm sorry I have to just cut in here. I want to bring in Ferdinand Ekeoma to respond to some of the allegations you have raised, against the current administration. You have pointed issues of corruption, not following due process, particularly in the awarding of contracts, voting money for projects that you claimed have no sighting. I would like you to react to some of these strong or witty allegations, by the chairman of the People's Democratic Party in the state, that your government is corrupt.
Where is the location of the recreation facility?
Please, I think I have the floor. Can the man keep quiet?
Sorry, Mr. Abraham.
Can the man keep quiet?
Mr. Abraham,
Can
please.
Keep quiet?
Mr. Abraham, we would get to those issues specifically. So let me give you the floor to respond on some of those allegations of corruption and not following due process. Ferdinand.
Okay, so you could see that the man is talking very carelessly, recklessly, and in a very uncivilized manner. But then the facts are there. When you come to Abia, maybe one day you guys will have the opportunity to come to Abia. We'll go on a tour of project sites. Ours is not to make noise in the media. When you come on ground, you see whether the government is working or not, whether the projects we claim to have executed exist or not. The person that is accusing us of corruption, he knows he is lying to himself. They just handed over just a little over a year and 6 months ago. And they were a disaster. And they are yet to recover from the emotional trauma, emotional distress they caused themselves as a result of the corrupt practices they committed here, which laid the foundation for that overwhelming defeat. He is the chairman of the PDP. Let me just make reference to specific empirical data. Ask him why they abandoned their former political party office in Omahia and moved to another place. Because they transferred money from the Ministry of Lands and Housing account and paid for the party office. As a political party that was in power for about 20 years or 24 years, they couldn't even secure a party office. What they did was to use public funds, state funds, to pay for the party office. And that was why it was sealed on assumption of office, courts of the panel of inquiry. They didn't go to court. We expected them to go to court. Of course, he and others will still be brought to justice. That is a clear example of the many atrocities they committed against the state. Whether it's in the area of infrastructure, road construction, housing.
Justice. You are saying it now that
education. There is nothing we are saying we have done or we are doing that are not verifiable. What they do, they go to our quarterly budget reports, pick up a headline, distort it and travel with it and try to deceive the people. The government is popular. The reason for trying to come up with what they call a shadow government is because they have struggled to try to distort the facts. They have struggled to try to mislead the people, and the people have refused to pay attention to them. And that is why they come up with all kinds of manipulations, come up with all kinds of medieval strategies to try to deceive the people. And we're saying nobody is going to embrace them. They are sounding broken. You could see the bitterness written all over them, the way he's talking.
All right.
So the most important thing is running away from the issue at hand. If you want us to talk about our scorecard as a government, we come here, we sit down, we comfortably discuss it.
All right, Mr. Ferdinand Ekeoma, let me leave you for a moment. Let me leave you for a moment.
And ask you whether it's an aberration.
Let me leave you for a moment.
In Nigerian democracy that supports the so-called shadow government they're talking about.
All right, let me leave you for a moment. Let me come back to you, Mr. Abraham Amah, because I know that you want to react to some of the things that he has said. You've been talking, of course, while he was speaking. They said that you are a pained party that, of course, is talking from a standpoint of defeat. One even said that you are talking from shadows of, according to the IPAC state chair there, he said a shadow of yourself. I would like you to react to some of those things and be specific on the projects, the allegations. Can you be specific on some of those allegations?
We based all our conversation on issues. That is what drives other PDP, and that is what makes us tick. And I asked 3 questions. Where is the location of the recreation facility where they spent 6.5 billion? It doesn't take 30 seconds to say it's located in social and so place, the city and the address, where there is no such thing. Where is the location of the ICT center? Where is the location? In Abia. If it is an overseas investment, maybe they build it somewhere in Europe to attract money for Abia. In which country? Where did they build it? And They say they have spent 7.2 billion on research and development. What are they researching and what have they been able to develop?
Okay.
These are direct questions.
Okay.
Very, very direct questions which he has not been able to.
Okay. I would give Ferdinand.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Remember when we are here, I expected them to tell me that section of the law, of the Constitution, which criminalizes shadow government. They have not been able. They are afraid of their mirror. People have been in the public service before. As I said earlier, Alex Otti spent $1.8 billion in a budget with the EFCC, the former boss of a bank. It's a public knowledge.
All right. Let me leave you for a moment, Mr. Abraham Amah.
They are consistent to lie on the public.
All right, Mr. Abraham Amah, let me leave you for a moment. Please permit me to leave you for a moment so as to give Ferdinand the opportunity to respond. But before he responds, let me come back to Chimex Ulocha. He took a swipe at you, saying that maybe you have no moral stand to even question, in terms of accountability, the People's Democratic Party of the state. I would like you to react to that and some of the things he has said that you might want to speak on.
There is nothing actually he has said I need to speak on. Just like I said, the People's Democratic Party lacks the moral standing to challenge any activities of this present government, because they were there just 18 months ago. And from what he has been saying about projects not visible and all that, has he taken time to write to any of those ministries responsible for those projects to give on the Freedom of Information Act, on the status of those engagements, other than coming public to deceive people and all that? Just like I said, PDP needs to tender an unreserved apology to Abians for taking this state backward for the past 20 years administration. And it is addressing to Abias for a misrule that in during the administration, he is coming up with a shadow cabinet or whatsoever he intends to call it. But if you scrutinize all the individuals that made the list of those cabinet, there are people of questionable characters. There are people of questionable. In what way of moral standing or valuation will you rate them, including him, Abraham Amah? When he was the spokesperson of PDP and the zonal chairman of PDP, we had pensioners protest on monthly basis. We had the local government staff being owed salary for 8 months and 9 months. What did he do? Today, we cannot. Abians are now celebrating an administration of non-arrears to save civil servants. All he can come up with is a distraction of a shadow cabinet. It's most unfortunate that most of these PDP people are supposed to be in prison, for one crime or the other they've committed against the state. Well, just like Ferdinand said, in few weeks or months, they will be brought to justice. That is all I have to say.
Okay, thank you for that. Let me bring in Ferdinand Ekeoma to respond to some of the questions Mr. Abraham Amah did raise. He asked for specific locations of some projects and clarity as regards some spending. I believe you had some of those projects. So please, would like you, if at all any of these contracts were awarded or projects exist, I would like your reaction.
Okay, so which project does not exist? There is no project we've mentioned that either has not been awarded or has not been started or has not been completed. Okay, so let me help him. Let me help you. That is what they do. And we are smarter than them and cannot fall into that, funny trap. In analyzing because that is where he's coming from. And so, with due respect to him, he's actually talking out of ignorance or how budget reports are done, or the meaning and the headlines. For example, and this is where they picked some of the things, that is what is called societal reorientation. They have continued to deceive the people and mislead them, give the false impression that whatever was captured as expenditures under the headline societal reorientation were funds spent for reorientation or orientation and all the rest of them. But these are actually funds spent in the Ministry of Justice, either as carpets or for payment of salaries and all the rest of them. But in the budget report, it is captured as societal reorientation. So when you hear, for example, that 1.5 billion has been spent for societal reorientation, they travel out to mislead the people. And they will tell you, show us where you did the orientation. But that is misleading because of lack of understanding of what that means. But that involves everything that has been spent in the Ministry of Justice. Whether you have built courthouse, whatever infrastructure, payment of salaries and all the rest of them, arrears which we inherited from them. But they will come here and tell you to show them. Now, you hear about tree planting. Tree planting is a code, is a headline as stated, as initiated by the NGF. And that tree planting is not about planting tree. Everything that has to do with purification, whether it's tree planting or whether it's grass, whether you are planting all kinds of things, they are under the code tree planting. Now, you look at expenditures under the office of the governor, because I need to break this thing down so that you will understand how they are misleading the public. When you hear expenditures under the office of the governor, it is not money spent for the governor, so to say. You have agencies like ASEPA, you have Abia Transport, you have Abia State Passengers Integrated Manifest Scheme, you have the Abia Road Safety Management Agency, and Abia State Orientation, and all the rest of them. They are all domiciled in the office of the governor, and this is started under their watch. Every money spent in these agencies are captured under the office of the governor. But they come here, these things were in existence. That is why the government is trying to move all these agencies into their parent, back to their parent ministries. But these people will come out and fabricate all kinds of things. Some of the things he's mentioning here, if you look at the bus terminal being built by the government, both in Aba and in Umuahia, being done by Planet Project, a reputable company, these things are captured there and they're all verifiable. But the man who appear here, just like they've been doing, to mislead, to lie, to deceive the people. Meanwhile, this is a government, or this was a government that left arrears of 32 months in Abia Poly, 27 months in Abia State College of Education and Technical Arochukwu, 11 months in APSO, 12 months in Hospital Management Board, and APSUTS in 20 months, totaling 18.5 billion. Please ask him, he's seated here, whether what I'm saying is a lie or not. These are arrears. I'm sure you must have seen the video of Abia Poly staff celebrating recently when they received, some months of arrears paid them by the government out of the 32 months arrears owed by that government, which Abraham Amah was the chairman of the political party. Recently, Abia State University, Utru, let me give a short story. APSO had a meeting with the representatives of the government. I was there. The two subject matters they come up with: one, the arrears of 11 months incurred by former Governor Kezi Bazo, the governor of that political party, which Abraham Amah was the chairman. He never opened his mouth to condemn that. 11 good months, totaling 4-point-something billion. During that meeting, they were making case for the arrears and the non-implementation of TSA. They were opposed to TSA. And of course, we insisted it must be implemented because they ran APSU aground. In the course of that discussion, I brought out a document to show, because there was a representative from APSU National. I said, imagine where the former government had not incurred these arrears of 4-point-something billion, and the present government decided to invest that in infrastructure in APSU. The man was shocked. He said, excuse me, are you saying it wasn't this government that incurred the arrears?
Okay.
I said, yes, look at them, ask the APSU people that are sitting here.
Mr. Ferdinand Ekeoma,
excuse me, are you saying, excuse me, I just want to give you an example. He said, Are you people telling me it wasn't this government? They said yes. But I said, okay, so why did you keep quiet when the former governor was owing you? They said they were being intimidated. The man asked them, why did you not escalate it to the national? I'm just trying to give you a tip of the atrocities committed by these people. They ran all our institutions and ground, and they have the effrontery to come to the media to lie and say the audacity to say all kinds of things. And you're setting up a shadow government to do what?
Okay.
The people laugh at them. They know they are unpopular. They know the people are not ready to pay attention to them. So we are not infallible as a government, and that must be stated. But we are saying that the man that is seated here and others do not have the moral grounds because they committed atrocities against our people.
Okay,
all
yeah,
the deaths of hundreds of our pensioners, all our workers, destroyed our civil service,
to you,
made Abia a laughing stock in the committee of states. Yet they have the audacity to appear here to talk.
All right, according to you, said the People's Democratic Party of Abia State has committed atrocity which your government, your current administration, is actually mopping up, part of which includes the payment of backlog in terms of arrears, of salaries. I'll bring in Mr. Abraham Amah to react to this, but first, we need to go on a quick commercial break. When we return, the show continues. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and we are discussing the recent development in Abia State, where the People's Democratic Party of the state has formed a shadow government to hold the current administration to account. I have the chairman of the party on the program this evening. That's Mr. Abraham Amah, is the chairman of the Abia State People's Democratic Party. Also have Ferdinand Ekeoma, the special advisor on media and publicity to the governor of the state, Governor Otti, and Chimex Ulocha is the state chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, let me get your reaction to some of the things Ferdinand has said, Mr. Abraham Amah. I believe you responded extensively to some of the projects you questioned, and he said that largely the party has succeeded in cleaning up a lot of the mess your party created while in power, part of which is the payment of arrears owed to public servants. How do you react?
We raised the question, and we have not been able to answer you of that question. And the question we raised to the Governor Otti is, where is the recreational facility of 6.5 billion? Where? And he was talking about some other projects which I have not mentioned here. Where is this recreational facility of 6? Where is it located? City and address. Where is the location for the ICT infrastructure, which you build with 2.4 billion? These are questions we are asking. The former governor did a lot for the Abia people. He did a lot. He did a lot for the people of
can you, because you are pressed for time, sir, can you just mention three notable things the former governor did for the state? Just three, because we need to move on.
Okay, number one, peace. Because the responsibility of every government is the welfare and the security of life.
So you are saying the governor brought about peace in the state?
So listen, under Ipazo, we were not having the type of consistent killings we are having in Abia State now. We were not under the watch of Governor Ipazo. That is number one. Number two, under the watch of Governor Ipazo, he was celebrated as Abia was celebrated as the capital of SME in West Africa.
As the capital of SMEs in West Africa. Okay, and the third one, because we need to go, sir. Okay.
And under Ipazo, we were able to deliver, in fact, in one submission of government during the Ipazo's administration, there was a record presented by the government of Ipazo that they have delivered at the beginning of the administration, that they have delivered about 90 votes.
Okay, I'm sorry, we are really pressed for time because we might just need to go. I would just ask one question. Did the government of former Governor Ekeoma owe salaries? Yes or no?
We inherited salaries and we paid salaries.
So did you owe while leaving office? Did you owe? Did he pay all the salaries or did he still owe some while leaving office? Yes or no? We need to go, sir.
The money we left behind was able to take care of the salaries outstanding at the time we left.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to bring in Chimex. At 30 seconds, your final thought, please, before we go.
As the IPAC state chairman, we are thinking about the disciplinary action against the membership of the People Democratic Party in IPAC, because thinking about constituting a shadow government which is unconstitutional and trying to cause anarchy in the states, we as IPAC, a body of all political parties, will not tolerate it. And however, and I will advise Chief Abraham Amah, my senior brother, to please try first to tender an unreserved apology to Abians on the misrule of the People's Democratic Party for 24 years in Abia. After that, we can then move forward. But for now, they lack the moral grounds to come and criticize any activities of this present administration. They should leave the activities of both positions to other political parties like us, Young Democratic Party and others,
okay,
to do that. For now, they lack all it takes to do that criticism.
All right, thank you so much. Let me, Ferdinand, your final thoughts, 30 seconds, please.
You know, there was something I mentioned here. If a political party could be so, a government could be so wicked to use public funds, to transfer funds from Ministry of Lands and Housing account to pay for their party office after being in government for 24 years, then you know the kind of government that government was. Then you must know that it was a very wicked government, a very dishonest and dishonorable government. Like I did say, the PDP destroyed Abia State, and Abians are giving a sigh of relief. I made reference to specific figures of arrears left behind by this government. They destroyed Abia. But then we are not dwelling in the past. We are moving forward. We are writing our checkered history, and we continue to serve our people with commitment and dedication and empathy. PDP does not have the moral grounds at all to speak. That is the truth. They should be seen but not heard. Because they are unworthy of any form of opposition in Abia State, given the atrocious record they left behind. So we are not looking in that direction. We are moving ahead. But the most important thing, as a responsible government, we are under obligation to stop them from creating anarchy. They told you they restored peace. Don't forget that it was under that regime in 2022 that the prelate of Methodist Church in Nigeria was kidnapped at Law Panther. The church had to pay the whopping sum of 100 million. The OKC Pasu government appeared helpless. They couldn't do anything. The kidnappers and mutualists continued to massacre our people there until Alexoti came on board. Find out how.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time on the program. Mr. Abraham Amah, chairman of the Abia State People's Democratic Party, Ferdinand Ekeoma, special advisor on media and publicity to the governor of the state, Governor Otti, and also Chimex Ulocha is the state chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council. Gentlemen, it's great to have you. It was great having you on the program. We hope to bring you back again. Thank you so much. All right, and this, of course, is where we drop the curtain on today's episode. In case you missed out, there will be a repeat broadcast later tonight. You can also catch up on our online platform, that's YouTube, and across social media. You can follow me personally at Dakbo at Digboyi. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.